So our video has begun. I'm on the screen. Let me turn the lights down. Here. Okay. So, question. Who's heard of a style of music called musique concrète? Okay. Would someone who's raised their hand like to give us a definition of musique concrète? Would they like to? Okay, that's fine. I'll do it. Okay, so musique concrète. Can you guess where that term comes from? Which country? It's French. It's a French word. It's because many of the early composers who were pioneering this thing were French specifically, but it's not limited to French folks. Of course not. So we're going to listen to some examples of musique concrète. One of the defining features of musique concrète is the use of raw recorded sound as its fundamental material. People can make sounds and then integrate them into a collage. That's true. Oftentimes people find sounds, or they sample them, or they record them in the wild. So let's hear some examples. We'll start in no particular place. Let's start here with Varese. And this video actually has a little visualizer that someone programmed. The visualizer is not part of the piece. The piece is a bit older, 1958. Let me make myself float on top here for folks watching at home. So let's listen to this. It's 8 minutes. We're not going to listen to the whole thing. At some point, I will jump around because we do have limited time. But here we go. Pardon me? I thought it did it by automatic. It did not. Here we go. Here we go again. Yeah, there it is. Shh. Thank you. Skip ahead. Skip ahead. Skip ahead. Okay, so wait, I'm gonna pause. What are we hearing here? State the obvious. State the obvious for me. Yeah, Scooby-Doo, you meddling kids, right? Yeah, what's up?
Where is this being done? Who's making these noises?
So some of the sounds are produced electronically. Clearly, some of them are like very early synthesized.
Billy in the studio, like, yo, Billy, you hearing this?
So what I want to say is that
60s with this.
yeah. So what I want to say is like this music, which began earlier than 1958, was a combination of a number of things. Speaking off the cuff, what I want to say about it is it's a combination of how do I say this? Western European art music reaching kind of a tonal apex by the turn of the century, and then music after 1900 starts to change significantly in the West. So much so that ideas about tonality, ideas about key centers, and melodic writing and things change so drastically that they set the stage for the idea of sound as music. Additionally, there's also new technological innovations, like being able to put things on tape and then manipulate the tape directly. Also, synthesizers. Also, amplification. Also, things like this. And so, within the Western art music sphere, you have composers like Varese, like some of the other ones we're going to listen to, who are doing this work that ultimately is a spiritual successor to the Western art music tradition that led up to it. So this, you're right. If you're like, this sounds kind of esoteric and kind of weird, I'd be like, well, yeah, but this was inhabiting part of the art music and intellectual life of Western music at that time, because it was a new thing, it was a big deal, and like I said, it was this exploration away from like strict tonal ideas and things that had been brewing for a while. In the 1920s, there's a movement called the Futurists in Italy who do these like noise-making machines, which is definitely a full movement away from tonality. Anyway, some of y'all, I'm skipping ahead a little bit in like music history class. So if you're in music history class, you'll encounter some of these concepts like later, and it'll ring a bell. Get it? Because there was a bell. Okay. Anyway, so this is Edgar Varese's poem Electronique, and it's a big deal. It's one of those watershed pieces. Here's another piece by Pierre Schaeffer, and this is about trains. Very periodic. This one's only 3 minutes. We'll listen to the whole thing. Okay, so what's up with that? Reactions? Any reactions welcome.
Sound like he made his own sound, sound like creativity.
Yeah, well, yeah, because all those sounds are arranged, right? Like he determined to put them in some kind of order and loop things and make rhythms. There's like these little rhythmic vignettes that appear. I think listening to this music causes us to confront a couple problems in our kind of our philosophy of musicking. So, not to get too meta or tangential, but how do we think about music? Like what is music, man? What is it? Right? I know it's a very tired question. Sound, yeah, sound, and there are varying definitions of this, and I do not have the widest possible view because there are more views that I could bring in from other cultures that have different scopes and different ideas about this. But what seems to be central is the idea of some type of organization of sounds, some type of organization. Could you argue that a choice to make a random collage of sounds is also a type of organization? You could, but somewhere in there is some kind of intention, either to create or to hear something musical. It's as far as I'm going to go with that topic, because we could go on for a long time with that idea. But here's another problem. What is a recording, really? Is a recording, how do I say this? Is it some kind of abstract, idealized form, or is it like a direct representation of a moment in sound? I'll say that again. And hear me out. I'm going to give you an example. Is a recording some kind of idealized, abstract form, or is it some kind of attempt to recreate accurately a moment in sound? And the answer can be yes. The answer can be like, okay, yes, both. Sure. Doesn't have to be or, it can be and. Well, consider a situation where, imagine a song and you have a singer and you hear that singer and the voice sounds like it's right up close to you. And then on the drum track, there is reverb on the snare. Ka! There's a big echo. Boom. Ka! Right? That situation can't really exist in real life. can it? Because if you're in a space where the snare has reverb and you're perceiving it and the singer is there with you, even if they're right up in your face, there's still going to be some amount of acoustic reverberation of their voice in the space. I'm thinking of being in a cathedral. Problem yet, how would the snare have reverb but not the kick drum? Problem yet, how would the hi-hat have delay but not the snare? Right? It becomes a problem where the recording is not actually a real thing. Like, it's not a representation of a real situation. It's in this way that I argue that recordings really are idealized, right? They are crafted themselves, and live performance is a different type of animal, fundamentally. You think about compression, right? Audio compression. I don't mean file compression, I mean audio compression. The idea that we're bringing out the really quiet sounds and then diminishing the really loud sounds really doesn't exist in real life unless we're in very particularly crafted acoustical spaces. So, this is how I say that musical recordings are a type of artifact. Doesn't mean they're wrong or less artful or anything like that. Just consider that a lot of situations acoustically that occur in a recording are not really possible live without electronic manipulation of the sound in some form, some kind of mediation. Okay, more listening real quick. I'll skip around a little bit because we do have to get onto our Logic stuff. Ever heard of a band called the Beatles?
Number 9, 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 number 9.
Skip ahead. Skip ahead. Okay, you can listen. You can listen to the whole thing. It's on the White Album, and they are influenced and imitating these other composers, right? They're not the inventors of this style by any means, but they're imitating this idea of playing with tape directly. Here's another one, real quick. Who's heard this one? It's Gonna Rain. Here we go. Check it out. It opens with the theme. Let's think about this as almost a type of theme and variation. That you have the opening theme, and then what Stevie Boy here is going to do is he's going to play two tape machines and then start delaying one of them over time. He's going to chop it up too, so we start to hear the internal rhythms. And then, yes, I'm going to skip around a little bit. Here's the theme.
He began to warn the people. He said, after a while, it's going to rain after a while. For 40 days and for 40 nights. And the people didn't believe him. And they began to laugh at him. And they began to mock him. And they began to say, it ain't going to rain. It's gonna rain, 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 it's
Skip ahead. Skip ahead. Okay, so wait a minute. I just want to point out, isn't it interesting how melodies and rhythms start to pop out of the speech? And yeah, he's cut it in a particular way so that we're hearing the same small looped segment. What he's doing is he's speeding up and slowing down one of the tapes so that they're moving in and out of phase with one another. Yeah.
So I just want to make sure I understand.
We're all trying. Uh-huh.
When this was being done, and it kept repeating, was he really like, are y'all hearing this? Like, was he really like?
Well, yeah.
Really?
Well, yeah. Well, okay. Consider this: that the fascination with it is that things that you would regard as, how do I say this? The speech at the beginning may not strike everyone as being explicitly musical. But when you put it into this form and you loop it over and over, humans, basically evolutionarily wired to see pattern, start detecting patterns. And the thing that's fascinating about it is that there's a musical pattern in this game of these things kind of rubbing against each other, speeding up, slowing down. So, yeah. Now this is happening not so much in the pop music scene, right? This is not happening so much in the commercial music scene. This is happening in largely institutionalized art music scenes that admittedly are fairly academic. A couple more examples real quick. Oh yeah? Huh. Interesting. We won't listen to all 45 minutes of this one. We're gonna listen to the beginning, and then I'm gonna skip ahead. Let me give you the basic idea of this piece, though. What's happening is Alvin Lucier. Alvin Lucier is a character. He did an early piece of music where he hooked up electrodes to his head and was controlling percussion instruments with his brain waves. Yeah, pretty wild. He's pretty out there. This piece is where he's recording the sound of his voice, and then he's placing the microphone somewhere in the room and then picking up the reverberation from the speakers in that part of the room, and then using that recording and moving to another part of the room. So over time, you start to hear the overtones of the room. Okay, here's the very beginning. No, beginning.
I am sitting in a room different from the one you are in now. I am recording the sound of my speaking voice, and I am going to play it back into the room again and again until the resonant frequencies of the room reinforce themselves, so that any semblance of my speech, with perhaps the exception of rhythm, is destroyed. What you will hear then are the natural resonant frequencies of the room articulated by speech. I regard this activity not so much as a demonstration of a physical fact, but more as a way to smooth out any irregularities my speech might have. I am sitting in a room different from the one you are in now.
It's already different.
I am recording the sound of my speaking voice.
Skip ahead.
Recording the sound of my speaking voice. And I am going to play it back into the room again and again.
Skip ahead. Skip ahead. Skip ahead. Sounds like bells. Robot bells. Skip ahead. Skip ahead. Skip ahead. All from his voice, just playing it in the room over and over again. Skip ahead again. Okay, so pretty trippy, right? Lastly, but not leastly, how about Frank Zappa? You guys seen this album cover, by the way? It's an imitation of Sgt. Pepper's. It's a parody of Sgt. Pepper's. Yeah, it's got Jimi Hendrix. It's got some other folks in there. Anyway, Frank Zappa also dabbled with Musique. And actually, if you read some of the liner notes to some of his early records, he actually specifically thanks composers like John Cage, Karlheinz Stockhausen, etc. Edgar Varese, who he had actually a childhood phone call with. Like when Frank Zappa was a kid, he called, he got a call from Edgar in France. Anyway, long story. We will skip ahead because I want to get to our logic thing here. The album is called We're Only In It For The Money. Got Nosferatu up here. Skip ahead. Skip ahead. More. Skip ahead. Skip ahead. Why do you think it's called the chrome-plated megaphone of destiny? What a weird title for a piece of music. Uh-huh. Yeah. It is. You're absolutely correct. This is the last track on the album. You know, some artists do like a slow song at the end. Oh, goodbye. Thanks for listening. Yay. Have a good night. And then you get this like laughing and like sounds and, you know, like that's the end of the album. Yeah, that's quite a statement. Is it possible that Zappa was anti-authoritarianism? Oh, maybe. Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it's not this album. I think it's Freak Out. The first one has a track where it says like, read this Kafka story and then come back and listen to the piece. So, you know, he's got some ideas. Anyway, okay, well, guess what? The assignment I want us to do is to make a piece like this. All right. Now listen, it doesn't have to be over a minute, but the goal here is to be manipulating digital audio and playing with digital audio. So now we're pivoting from our listening time to actually messing with Logic. Now, what's one of the fastest ways we can get audio into Logic? Well, we can record direct with a microphone. We have a condenser microphone that needs phantom power on the M-Box to work. But you also have a recording device right here. You have a recording device that is your phone. So let's try this as a type of demonstration. We'll do it live. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to record a voice memo. And then I'm going to send it to myself. Hey, yeah, so note to self, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today, but I'm not really sure because last time I had indigestion. I might try Whataburger again, but really when I was there, the person at the window wasn't really nice to me, and I really don't want to go and see them again because I might actually just get really upset. Instead, I might go to Taco Cabana. Actually, scratch that. We're not going to go to Taco Cabana. We're going to go to Which Wich. Nope, scratch that. I don't like their mustard. Note to self, where are we going to get lunch? We need to figure this out. I need you to call me later, and we're going to hash this out. Maybe we should go to Hash. Maybe. That's a concept, maybe. Give me a call later, okay? We'll do lunch. Bye. All right, now, what I want to do is I want to send this. I'm going to name this. Let's do lunch on my device. There it is. And I'm going to share, and I'm going to airdrop it to myself. Now, you could email a voice memo to yourself. You could email it. If your device is an Apple and does AirDrop, great, you can do that too. Emailing might be the best way, or using OneDrive, which you have access to as an Incarnate Word student. That way you can kind of put it in the internet and then grab it on the computer you're using. I'm just gonna see if it cooperates today. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Boom! Hey, there's my voice memo. Great, I'll have to edit this part out because I don't want anyone's name on the video. Okay, so let's hear if this worked. Go ahead and judge what I'm listening to, it's fine. Please play. Hey, so note to self, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today, but I'm not really sure because last time I had... Okay, it's great, so it works, the sound file works. Now, let's... No, I'll leave it in downloads, it's fine. It's called Let's Do Lunch. I'm gonna go to my Logic session. I have a blank Logic session with just a little keyboard in here. Now, how do you think I'm gonna import tracks? File, import, and then here, let me turn this off, go away. File, import. You're not gonna let me do that today, are you? I think so. I think it was actually blocking me from that. Yes, okay, good call. So if I have that thing selected, it's gonna block my ability to do that, even though I want to make a new track when imported anyway, but okay. So, you wanna make sure you have an audio track, and then import, and then it'll let you do it, even though I was gonna have it make one when it came in. There it goes. It wants to import directly to an audio track. Great, okay. Let's hear it. Hey, so note to self, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this mundane piece of nonsense and play with it and get it to become some other things. First things first, I'm gonna duplicate the track, I'm going to copy, and then I'm gonna paste it on another track, so I have another one. How did I do that? I selected the track, I hit Command D to make a new duplicate track. It'll duplicate everything on the track, and then I have two things to work with. Now, you can record audio this way and then bring it into your device. I recommend you do that if you can do that just now. Give it a shot. It's okay to do that while I lecture and talk about this stuff. The other thing you can do, remember how we made an audio file using Terminal? Y'all remember that? Yeah? We went in here and we made a save file, and then we had an output file. Remember that part? I might make a video about that. We'll keep going. I'll make a video about that. But that's how you can get the robot voice. And then you can use that if you want to. Okay, so I'm gonna mute this extra track I have. This one is Let's Do Lunch main. Now, question for you. How can I start to play with this audio? What are some immediate things I can do to it? Add effects, AKA plugins. So I'm gonna go to the main track, Let's Do Lunch main, and in Logic, I'm gonna have my effects over here on this little channel strip that's called the inspector. If you don't have it, go to View and hit Show Inspector. Oh no, it's gone. Don't worry, View, Show Inspector. And then you click on Audio Effects, this is where the plugins go, and then you can apply things to it. Cool. Let's apply reverb to the whole thing. And this is a mono to stereo reverb. About maybe Chipotle for lunch today, but I'm not really sure because last time I had indigestion. Hey, yeah, so myself, I'm thinking about. I did though. But I'm not really sure because last time I had indigestion. Hey, yeah, so myself. So we can start to mess around with some of these effects. Okay, we did this last time. This is very basic. Hey, yeah, so myself, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today, but I'm not really sure because last time I had indigestion. Hey, yeah, so myself, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today, but I'm not really sure because last time I had indigestion. Hey, yeah, so. Okay, let's leave that for now. What are some other types of plugin effects I can throw on this? Yeah, well, that was the top one. But why not? Let's do it. Hey, yeah, so note to self, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today, but I'm not really sure because last time I had indigestion. Hey, yeah, so note to self, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today. Now notice I did something important. I took the effect, and when I was like, okay, I'm done with you, right? I just turned it off this way. And it's still in the channel, but it's just bypassed. It's just off. I can use that to compare effects, and I can also kind of keep things in the strip and then decide to undo them or turn them back on or etc. Delay. I like the delay. Delay is always fun. It's my. Hey, yeah, so note to self, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today, but I'm not really sure because last time I had indigestion. Hey, yeah, so note to self, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today, but I'm not sure again. But really, when I was there, that person at the window wasn't really nice to me. So, okay, that's cool. We're just adding effects over things. Now, what if we don't want the effect to be on the entire track the entire time in the same way? There's a word for this. I'm gonna ask the question again. What if we don't want the effect to be on the track the same way, the same throughout? What do we do? What's that called? Automation. 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 Well, what is it? What do you think it is? Huh? Say louder. It automates things, which means it's going to change effects and certain parameters at certain times according to your selection. So to get to the automation, let me see here. Boop, ba-doop, 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 doop. There it is. What you want to do is you got to click on this guy. Show hide automation. It looks like these little two dots that are connected up here. And when you do that, you're going to open up this additional little piece of information. So let's do, I can display anything I want to here. Let's start with the panning. Let's do something very, very easy. Let's start with panning. So I'm going to do pan, and let's do absolute pan. And make this a little bigger. Make it a little more like that. I want to manipulate the panning. So what I'm going to do is I have it on read mode. Let's have it on touch. There you are. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click in the waveform area, and then I'm going to move these little dots by clicking on them somewhere else. Let's hear what this effect is. Hey, yeah, so note to self, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today, but I'm not really sure because. What's it doing? Listen again. Hey, yeah, so note to self, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle. Yeah, it wasn't doing that before. It's bouncing between left and right channels. And that's what the automation is doing, is it's changing. Watch here. Watch this little knob right here. Hey, yeah, so note to self, I'm thinking it's automatically moving the knob according to those parameters. So we've set up a situation where the panning is changing automatically. Part of the reason I want to do a Musique concrète project first, rather than making a full song, is I want you to actually play with some of these automation things first and kind of mess around with them and maybe make some mistakes or do things that you maybe don't like. But We want to get our hands dirty in the garden and kind of mess around with these ideas. So, okay, let's say I love that panning. I love it. I love it so much. Let's bring it back to Unity, center-ish. Okay, great. And I'm just gonna loop this one section. Notice how when I'm looping, I clicked on this little guy up here, it turned gold, and then I can change the sections I wanna loop. I just wanna loop that much. Okay, what else can I automate? Anything? Yes. Woo! Okay. Let's automate the tape delay. I want to automate the wet signal. What's dry wet signal? What does that mean? Yeah, what about the mix? Right. Once you apply the sauce to the burrito, it's kind of hard to take it away. But in digital audio, we can take it away. So notice that when I went to my tape delay effect, and I opened it by clicking on that little center thing with the little parameters, my output has both a dry and a wet. It's not merely a percentage, it's actually two stereo outputs, one that's dry and one that's wet. So we'll leave the dry at 90, but let's automate the wet. Wet. Okay. And right now it's at 58%. And let's make it more here and suddenly less. Double click. Whoa, man, it's gonna be weird. Hey, note to self, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch. Okay. Do you hear the change? Listen again. Hey, note to self, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today, but I'm not really sure. Do you hear the difference? Listen one more time. Hey, note to self, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today. And it's much drier at the end of there. Tell you what, I'm gonna take the reverb totally out. Woo! There's a lot of things in here. No problem. I'm just gonna go to wet. And let's make it, it's at 79 there starting out. Let's make it drop completely. Check it out. Hey, note to self, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today. And now it's completely dry because I took away the tape delay and I took away the reverb. It's almost like I was getting closer to you. Like I was walking towards you saying that, which is... Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. You know, you nailed it. There's a spatialization to it. We're now in a weird space that's shifting. Listen again. Hey, note to self, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today, but I'm not really sure. Hey, note to self, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today. Yeah. No, it is though, right? Okay. We can automate other things too, but this is the process. We can even automate volume. Now notice here too that we have our volume. We have so-called main, where we can bypass, we can turn off certain effects completely. We can also cue solos or mutes. That's not super important for bouncing or recording out. That's more important for like the recording process. But we can automate volume and pan as well. Okay. Now, there's a lot of information in this video, in this lecture, so I understand if you have questions. But we're not done. But wait, it's not over yet, because if I go here and I double click it, it's gonna open the editor. We talked about this last time, and we can see things in the editor. It's just another window for us. But what if you want to clip the track? Because right now I have all this nonsense about Chipotle, and it's just a stream of consciousness, right? But what if I want to start cutting the audio? Well, let's go over here, and what word is there? Today, but I'm not really about maybe Chipotle for lunch today. Maybe Chipotle for lunch today. Maybe Okay, I'm gonna cut it right here. Zoom in, boom. I want to cut it right there. I don't want any I don't want any grid snapping. Grid snapping is where it's applying. See how I have beats? I know this thing isn't at 120 beats per minute, but the grid is basically a metronomic thing, and I turned off the snap because I want to have complete control over where the slider is going. Okay. Anyway, I go here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this. I'm sorry, I'm going to split this. I meant to say split regions at playhead. That's the playhead. These are the regions. Split. The hotkey is Command T. Boom. How nice. So now there's no gap there. We won't hear a difference. Maybe Chipotle for lunch today? But it's a different section. Okay, I'm gonna clip this one. Command T. Boom. Nice. Now I have an individual track right here. An individual clip, I mean to say. Maybe Chipotle for lunch today? What can I do with this? Let's move this one. Give me a second here. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Don't move it. I'm gonna scoot. Don't ask again. I scooted this out of the way, which is the rest of the audio track. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, in Logic, to repeat something is Command R to repeat, and it's just gonna make it again. Today, maybe Chipotle for lunch today. So, wait a minute. Maybe Chipotle for lunch today? Maybe Chipotle for lunch today? Copy. Let's make another track. Chipotle for lunch today? It's gonna get weird. Make it weird. Okay, here we go. And then I paste. Great. Unmute. Mute this dog. Go over here. Maybe Chipotle for lunch today? Maybe Chipotle for lunch today? Okay. Repeat, repeat. Okay, now I have an ostinato. Maybe Chipotle for lunch today? Maybe Chipotle for lunch today? Maybe Chipotle for lunch today? Do you hear the rhythm? Slide this one over, it's gonna crossfade them. Maybe Chipotle for lunch today? Maybe Chipotle for lunch today? Yeah, I like that a lot. Mix it up. Maybe Chipotle for lunch today? Maybe Chipotle for lunch today? Chipotle for lunch today? Okay. But I'm not satisfied. It's not weird enough yet, man. It's just not weird enough. And then doop ba doop ba doop boo doo ba doo ba boo ba boo ba. In doo 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 doo. Remove crossfade. That's great. She's lost her mind. It's happened. It's finally happened. Notice that Logic wants to help us out. Let me back up for a second and explain what's happening. What I'm doing is I've chopped a little clip, and now I'm sliding that clip over another clip. Logic is trying to help me out because most of the time people are going to want to make things come together, and they're going to use a crossfade, right? Which turns down one track and turns the other one up at the same time. It makes it more seamless. This is a basic of digital audio manipulation nowadays. And so it does this for me automatically. There's a setting to undo that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on it and say remove the crossfade. And so it's just going to repeat. Interesting. But wait, it's not over yet because there's more. There's so there's so much more. Let's go here. And what I want to do is I want to zoom in on this track. What I did was I double clicked on it. And let's turn on this dog. Show, hide, flex. Turn on the flex. Okay. Now, this is important. Flex pitch. What it's going to do is it's going to analyze the audio, and then it's going to show me where that pitch lies. There it is. And if you want an auto-tune effect, on your Musique concrète or your song, there's a plugin for a very discrete auto-tune sound. This is the way that a lot of people will fix recordings, or they'll make those wonderful, wonderful. It'll be like Smash Mouth All Star, but it's Rite of Spring, you know, and they'll do things like that. And so, one of the things I love about Logic, this little aside, is that this comes with Logic. This is in Logic. You don't have to pay for another plugin like Pro Tools. Anyway, it's just there. So what I have here is this region. And then let me, boop, 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 boop. You. I want to see you. I got to turn on the flex. Yeah. Go away.
Chipotle for lunch today.
Let me back up. Sorry. It's back here.
Chipotle. For lunch today. Maybe Chipotle.
I want, yeah, that one. This one. Higher. Higher. Formant shift. This little dog right here. Give me a second. Formant shift more. Huh? Yeah. Now, it's because I have these two stacked over each other. Let me go to this spot where these things are a little more discreet here. Take me there. Take me there. Okay. Here we go. This is the one I want. This one. Boop. More. Yes. Okay, let me zoom out. Sky's the limit, dude. So again, the point here, you might be looking at me like, Dr. Welty, this is a little crazy, because I want to make hit songs, and I'd be like, I know you do, maybe you do, but being able to manipulate the audio this way is a fundamental skill that you're going to want. Now, but wait, there's more. But wait, it's not over yet, because you might be wondering, well, how do I do this with MIDI? Because I don't seem to have the same power over MIDI. And I'd say, yeah, I know. Check it out. I'm gonna go back over here and let's unmute everything. Let's just go ham. Ooh, too many active at the same time. That's great.
Hey, so note to self, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today, but I'm not really sure because last time I had indigestion. I might.
Okay, so we're off to a great start. The piece is sounding great. So I have a little MIDI keyboard. You don't need to do this, just check it out. My MIDI keyboard. I'm gonna just record this one over that.
Hey, so note to self, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today, but I'm not really sure because last time I had indigestion. I might try Whataburger for lunch today, but really, when I was there, the person at the window wasn't really nice to me, and I don't want to go and see them again because I'm like, I don't want to get so upset. Instead, I might go to Taco Cabana.
Brilliant. Okay, now We got all this MIDI information.
Hey,
Crank it. Crank it.
hey, so note to self, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today, but I'm not really sure. Maybe Chipotle for lunch today.
Okay, now, the thing I was talking about was, let's say I'm stoked on that MIDI track. I love it. I don't need to make a single change to it. It's perfect as it is. Okay? Radical acceptance of the MIDI track. So, I'm gonna right click on this dog and I'm gonna say bounce in place. Wait, I'm gonna do that again. Bounce in place. You've heard me use this word before. Bounce. Bounce essentially means I'm going to turn it into another form. So I'm gonna turn I'm gonna turn this MIDI track into an audio track. Bounce in place, and then this pops up. I'm gonna say new track. I'm gonna say virtuoso piano 1. Perfect take. No changes. Great. And then I'm telling it to mute the source so I don't have a doubled track. It's fine. Cool, great, do it. Aha, there it is. Sick. Now we have an audio track.
For lunch today, for lunch today, I might try when I was there. The person that really when I was there, the person that wasn't really nice to me again, and I really don't want to go and see them again because I might actually just.
Now, can you apply plugins to a MIDI track? Well, yeah. But the stuff I was doing a second ago where I was manipulating the digital audio, you can now do that to this track. So you could say, let's jump in here. I want to solo this track. I only want to hear that one. Ooh, that's so tasty. Boom. Go in here and turn on the flex. Turn on the flex. Okay, great. Now, flex time slicing, flex time speed. Speed? Yeah. That's right. I'm speeding up or slowing down the track. Can I do that to my voice? You betcha. You bet, dude. Okay, here we go. Flex! Okay. And now, flex time, speed. Yeah, get wrecked. Okay, do that one. Yeah, dude. Solo. Isn't that great? I could build a whole song on that. I could build a whole tune on that. Okay, so what did I do? I turned on the flex. Turn on the flex. Then you get these flex times. Flex pitch was for like fixing an audio track if something's a little pitchy or totally trashing it. Yeah. There's all these fun little toys in here. I'm playing with speed, and it's literally gonna speed up or slow down things. Whoa.
Because last time I had indigestion.
I'm sorry. This is the most ridiculous thing in the world. Is me trying to decide what's for lunch.
I had it. I might try.
Chipmunk.
I might try water.
Yeah. Oh, that's too. Yep.
I might try.
Cancel.
Try Whataburger again, but really, when I was there, the person at the window wasn't really nice to me.
Was it really nice to me?
But really, when I was there, the person at the window wasn't really nice to me, and I really don't want to go and see them again.
Stretch.
And I really don't want to go and see them again because I might actually just get really upset.
Anyway. Okay, cool. What about slice? What about slicing? Yeah, slicing and dicing. This track's a mess now. I love it. Let's do it. Yeah. Slice it. Slice it.
When I was there, the person.
But I'm meh. when I was meh, meh. Let's hear it.
When I was there.
When I was there. Yes. When I was there.
When I was there, a person to when I was there, a person to when I was there, a person.
And now you can too, right? I can make the entire project out of one audio track. I don't even need the keyboard part. That's an extra thing you can play around with. I can take one audio file of my voice and chop it up in such a way that I'm making a beat, I'm making some kind of melodic gesture, I'm making a harmonic pad, I'm making all these things from just my voice manipulating it. The thing that's great about Musique Concrète is you don't have to like make something that's in a strict key, right? It doesn't have to sound that way. It can be experimental. That is the point. Okay, now, there's so much to do here. I know you're gonna have questions. Do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'd be glad to help. We can even do it virtually. We can even do like screen sharing stuff. So what I wanna say is, when you're done with your assignment, what you can do is, I'm gonna move, I like to do this just as a common practice. If I zoom all the way out on the transport, I can see that I have the end here. This is the end of the track. This is a thing that Logic does specifically that's different from things like Pro Tools. But I have the end of the track. It's this little arrow in that dark section. And I'm gonna put it where I want it to be. I'm gonna leave some space at the end, a tiny amount of space at the end, tiny bit. And then I'm gonna go File, Bounce, Project. Now listen, there's gonna be a problem. Do you recognize what the problem would be if I bounce this right now? One of the tracks is soloed. So what you see is what you're gonna get. So I'm gonna unsolo this, make sure everything is the way I want it to be, get rid of the repeat. Okay, I think everything's cool. That's muted because I don't want that one. I think this is gonna be epic.
Hey, so note yourself, I'm thinking about maybe Chipotle for lunch today, but I'm not really sure. Maybe Chipotle for lunch today, maybe Chipotle for lunch today, maybe Chipotle for lunch today, but really, when I was...
I'm gonna mute this one.
Try Whataburger for lunch today, maybe Chipotle for lunch today, maybe Chipotle for lunch today.
Less dense, makes more sense. Okay, let's bounce it. Do it. File, bounce, project or section. And I'm gonna do it as an MP3 right now because I just want to make sure that it's going fine. I'm gonna make sure the start is at the beginning, the end is there. Sure, include audio tail, why not? No dithering. Great, great, great. Let's do it. Let's put it on the desktop. Masterpiece #1. Boom. It's bouncing.